in our eyes is the one that will rise again. Our road is heavy, it's full of disguise that we people with drops of pain.
Thanks for joining Talking to Fastlane, man. I've had you guys on multiple times, and like I said, it's an open invite. Love the band, love what you guys do, and welcome to the show again, man.
John, it's a pleasure to be back, man. Really.
Always love having you on. So I wanted to get right into it. Obviously, new album coming up in October. The announcement was just dropped, but also the two new singles, and you already know what I think about it. I mean, I think about obviously, Wins the Time. It's just a straightforward, just absolutely crushes you as soon as you hear it. And then the latest one, We Rise. I think that one right there is the one that really connected with me because I think it ties into everything that you've done in the past, and you could see that progression with both of these new songs. So let's talk about those, and let's start with Wins the Time because it really, I think it almost was one of those things where people got punched in the face when they listened to it because it was so good and just, I mean, just straightforward, crushing it. So let's talk about that song. Let us know a little background on that one and how that came about.
Yeah, so last about almost a year ago now, after our first European tour last year, Leo and I came out here to where I'm sitting out here in Los Angeles, and we began working on our second studio record. So uh basically that was the first song that we wrote in that we said, okay, we're gonna write an album, and that's just the first thing that we did, and that kind of, I feel like that really set the tempo for the whole record. Um, it was it had brought together uh, elements that we had wanted to include in our music, but it still, carried our internal our band's identity with it.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, I mean that was basically the that was what we started off the album with, and we kind of just decided, it's like that's the kind of song that most bands, it's not unheard of for a heavy metal band to write a song of that length. It's there's many dozens of examples of great songs that are even longer than that. But
Sure.
um, it was more so a thing where, okay, this is typically a song that would get put as like, on the B side of the record. You wouldn't put this right up at the forefront as like your leading single, let alone
Right.
put together a fucking music video to go with it.
Right. That's
So we
right.
figured, you know what, let's just do that because honestly, like that is that song and what it entails is a very important aspect of our sound and kind of the essence of what we do, and we really wanted to put that at the forefront. So as far as the song itself, but also lyrically. Oh, and speaking of lyrics, he's I guess
There
he's
he is.
there he is. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'll just start on that a little bit. The lyrics are really,
Leo.
you know, you know
He's
what,
got the
man? You
maiden
finish
shirt
this,
on
man.
too,
I
man.
just started talking about the lyrics, so and you dropped in at the perfect time. So let us know about
Oh,
the lyrics for Winds of Time.
yeah. Well, first and foremost, apologies for being a minute late. The app wouldn't update, so I had to like reinstall it. But yeah. So
No worries.
it's great to see you again, man.
You too, man.
And yeah, regarding the lyrics, they're written based on reflections of society around the world and this day and age, which reflects a lot of historical events that were less than ideal for humanity. So that's kind of where it
Sure.
stems from.
What I like about it, I mean, obviously, I put it out there the other day from a fanboy's perspective, which I am first and foremost. I was blown away by the song for the fact that, like Parker said, bringing out a song with that length of of a song. Usually people looking 3 4 minutes, and then you guys bring this one out. But what I think is cool about it is it seems like it's like two songs together because you go through these different progressions through it. And as a listener, it brings to me the fact that you guys are growing as storytellers. And that's what I love about it. And I think that really, and plus it's always good to do something different than what everybody else is doing. You know, this is Wings of Steel, man. This isn't another band. You guys have an identity now. And that song right there to kick off what you're doing here is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I think storytelling is a big aspect of it. Storytelling is beyond just lyrics and words. It's within the music itself, and I feel like that's something that we've certainly honed in on. And if you look at Winds of Time, for example, pretty up tempo, pretty in your face kind of a tune, but then you have it kind of slows down at the middle section, and it starts a new kind of storytelling journey. And I think that's really something that, again, like we've honed in on, and I think it works really well with the lyrical themes that we tend to write about. And yeah, I feel like it's a natural progression in the story of Wings of Steel in our music.
It is a great song. And then I also want to bring up the latest single, We Rise, which it's a different type of song than Winds of Time. But I, let's start with this. When that song kicks in, the note that you hit in the beginning, I know everybody's been talking about it. I see it in the comments and everything. And I said, you know, that is, something that really sets you apart as a vocalist. So tell us how that song came together, because I want to get to Parker too, because the solo in this song is sick. I mean, I think that it's you guys are starting to stand out now. It's a great songwriting team, and I start to see, man, I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the next 5 to 10 years. So tell
Yeah.
us about how this song came together.
Um, I mean, it's like the rest of them. I really do think that they all came quite naturally. Again, we didn't have much time to write this album, just like with the previous one. And it's all about just finding the type of song that you feel like writing. Whether that starts with a riff or with something else, it doesn't really matter. But We Rise was like that. We had the riff, and it's really cool. And as for the scream, I mean, you got to have at least one song that has like one of those big moments in there. We kind of have that in the song Wings of
Right.
Steel as well, and I'm sure that's part of why that song does really well. Just part of it, but um, I think again, like the best way to summarize how this song kind of came to be is just a very natural progression again. And I feel like when you come across a riff, and both me and Parker are like, yeah, let's do this right now, because it's not always like that. We might have a really good riff or a really good vocal line or a really good something, but it just doesn't feel right for the moment. And whenever it's like that, we just kind of let that rest, and we go for something else, another kind of vibe that we like, or another thing altogether. But yeah, when we came across this one, it just felt like the right thing to do, and the song kind of just wrote itself.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Great way to put it. And Parker, what I just mentioned earlier, the guitar solo to this. I think the way you guys tied all this in, watching the video, obviously, and it really brings me back to the days when I was a kid growing up, and musicians, to me, when I watch these, were, I mean, larger than life. And I think that's the image that you guys are setting here. I see the fans when I watch the videos of the tour now, and people are getting into it. And with this song, you could feel the chant, but that guitar solo when it kicks in, it's like perfect, and it just everything just lays out in a perfect sequence. Tell us about that solo from a guitar player's perspective.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of great guitar players will kind of say in the way that they go about soloing, it's kind of almost like writing a song within a song. And I mean I
Right.
really think that's kind of, if I had to describe the way that I tend to to do my solos, that's typically what it is. I try to give it a dynamic, give it an end, give it a middle, give it some parts where give it some dynamics.
Right.
But yeah, so and on also on like that, if you listen to a lot of old blues and stuff like that, that's a good reference point for it. Is they'll go around the progression and they'll do a verse, the singer will go through, and then okay, now it's the guitar player's time to say his thing. They go around the same exact progression, but now the guitar player is singing the verse. Um,
Right.
so with this solo, it's pretty similar. It kind of it goes back to the intro again, and then so the song starts with the intro, and that's Leo doing his thing, but now I'm doing my thing over the intro, and I say that part, and then it goes from the intro, and just like in the beginning, it kicks into the rest of the song, and we kind of put like a different, almost like a bridge part underneath there, so it's
Right.
unique from the rest of the song, but it still kind of carries the same element, and then it goes back over the main riff, and I'm doing stuff over that, and then there's like a big I like to put these melody sections at the end with guitar harmonies. I always love to do that, so I kind of wrapped it all up with that, and then it goes back to the chorus. So kind of, yeah, from a songwriting perspective, that's kind of what's going on. And I kind of just usually we'll lay it out. I'll figure out, okay, we're gonna do this section here and this section here, and then I just improvise a solo over it, and then and then eventually you got it. So yeah.
It comes together so well too. And I wanted to bring up you two as songwriters together. You know, and listening to these two new songs, and obviously I had a chance to experience the album, which everybody's gonna love. So we got what, October 17th, and you can see a picture there behind me. Got to support these guys. So, but as songwriters now, you're involved in everything in all aspects of this. And Parker and I earlier were talking about the business side of this, but the songwriting side and the way you put these together now, and also the production side. I mean, this is like every aspect you're involved in. Tell us about how this album came together as songwriters, but then also about the way you had to produce this too. I mean, because it's a lot of steps here, to be involved, and it came out fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, oh no, go ahead, Leo. Go ahead.
we can both kind of chip in on this one because
Sure.
it's a lot, But I think, like I mentioned earlier, I don't want to sit here and say the same thing, but I think it's a really natural process that we have. And I think the process has been the same pretty much throughout all our releases. It's just as musicians, we evolve, we listen to a lot. We mature as musicians, we mature as songwriters. And I feel like we both bring something very unique to the table. And when you put both me and Parker together as one songwriting team, um, it's just really it's a very enjoyable time. I think we have a lot of fun when we write these songs, and it's cool to see that at the end of it, it's almost like it's its own journey. You sit down, you start writing a song, you're not really thinking so much about the end result. You just kind of, at some point you kind of just go, well, I guess that's it. And then we sit down in the car and we blast it into speakers, and most of the time we're like, there it is. I mean, Winds of Time, the song Winds of Time, the 10-minute 42-second one, was like the first thing we wrote when we got together this time after Gates of Twilight. So I think that says a lot. Just no limitations on us, what we want to do, and just go with it. So I'll just stop there because I know there's a lot, and Parker, you can continue from there.
It's a big question, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's all it's a product of everything that we've been influenced, what's inspiring us at that time that we're writing it, and also, something like a cool thing for us that we kind of grapple off of when we write songs is like, we'll have a bunch of I want to do a song that does this. I want to do a song that, like, We Rise, for instance, that song, it starts with the clean intro, and then it has a big, vocal scream, and it introduces the riff, and it's a really grand entrance, and we were like, we want to do our version of that, and that's kind of like that's just one of many things that'll kind of like plant the seed. But I mean, there's dozens and dozens of those seeds always kind of being planted, and a lot of what it is too is, Leo and I, we have we're just sitting around, being an artist, being a musician, you're always kind of getting ideas. And then you go and you
Right.
record, get a little phone recording, and say, okay, it's cool, noted. Um, and then you go and you kind of start, you go, oh yeah, I had this idea that was really fucking sick, let's do something with that. And then
Right.
it's all these little seeds, whether it's a riff or a melody, chord progression, whatever, and it all kind of grows, and the song grows around it. I'm gonna use it, I don't really like to compare math and music, because math is kind of like, left brain, and analytical, and music is more creative, but it's
Right.
similar.
Right.
It's similar in a sense, like, okay, you have an algebra problem, right? You know one variable, but you don't know the rest. But because you know that one variable, there's like a way for like the rest to be figured out. You don't
Right.
necessarily analytically figure out music, but it's the same where, like, okay, you have like one riff, and then you start writing from one riff, and the rest of the song kind of just blossoms out. And that's fundamentally, like, if you want to think about the songwriting like that, that's pretty much how it
Right.
plays out. And so you have all this, and then also I think Leo and I too, I mean, this being our third studio release that we've sat down to put together, I think we have a lot more experience and expertise and attention to detail that we didn't have previously. And I think by and large, like, I think like a lot of the rhythm guitar parts and the bass parts and the drum parts and I mean everything. It's more refined, it's more mature, and I think that's like
Right.
that's been really cool for us, and that's just been a token of the experience that we've gotten up to this point.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's what you can expect. It's still, if you liked the EP and if you liked Gates of Twilight, you're absolutely gonna love this. It's just
For
the
sure.
next logical progression.
Yeah, and
But
it's cool too. If I may add once again, I think it's cool
Sure.
that a lot of the stuff is just like in the moment. Like we may have a riff that it starts with or an idea that it revolves around, but a lot of it is just us sitting down, playing together, and then it just kind of happens. You'll come up with something that you didn't think of before, and that's if you go back to the roots of hard rock and blues and whatever, you get together and you fucking play, and then stuff will come out, and there it is. There's that magic to it, and I think it's very important to have that. You can't sit down and like figure out each and every single aspect. You got to let it just kind of come to you. But then also,
Right.
because you mentioned like production, so with mix and mastering, because we do pay a lot of attention to detail, because we know how we want it to sound, and we work with very talented Damien Reynaud also for this album, all our releases so far, and want to give
Sure.
big props to him for being so
and
uh,
and big props to Damien, because Damien played the drums on this record as well, actually. So yeah,
yeah,
continue.
yeah. But yeah, I just wanted shout
Jack of
out to
all
him.
trades. Hey, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, shout out to him for being so patient, because we're very very we pay a lot of attention to detail, and we go back and forth a lot, but at the end of the day the result is awesome, and that's all that matters. And yeah.
Well, you could see, everything that you've done so far. You could see the quality, and it continues to build. Like you said right there. I mean, you have that attention to detail, but that just makes for so much better of a release. And the fans see that. I look at the responses on different things, and when they say the video, and they bring out things, it isn't just, hey, this is a great song. There's aspects of the songs that they bring out, so they're noticing everything that you do now, and I think that really says a lot about this band. Like I said, you guys are, I mean, just basically just starting out. When you look at the scheme of things, and the third release is the one that usually launches a band. And I think the people are going to see, hey, these guys are, this is the real deal. This is what metal is going to be in the future. And I always put it out there, and we're in good hands. There's no doubt about it when we see, this band raise that flag and carry that torch. I think it's pretty cool.
And John, it was really cool too, is that because you're right, first release was back in 2022, so we've only really been added or existing for about 3 years. And if it weren't
Right?
for our amazing fans and guys like yourself who puts himself out there and talks about the band and spreads the message, we wouldn't be where we are today. So it's really cool to see that with the help of an amazing community, we've been able to progress really really fast.
That's always great to hear it. And you see the fans just continue to grow too. And I wanted to get into, the next step is obviously the tour, flight over Europe, and you have the new music, and you have the tour now too, and that all ties in. Let us know about the tour. I mean, what's it been like out there on the road for you? You played some nice big festivals too, so you're getting the exposure that you deserve. So tell us a little bit about the tour and how that's going out there.
I mean, yeah, it's been really cool to. I think a lot of it has been, we're playing new festivals and we're playing new stuff, but we're also playing in new places that we've never played before, and so it's a mix of playing, yeah, big stuff, but also newer places and newer fans, and so it's been everything has been new for us. So that's always a really fun adventure, and that helps us grow a lot, but yeah, I mean, by and large, even amidst that, we can really see that like these places that we've never been, like, wow, we do have a lot of fans out here. There's people going to this place we've never been to before, and they're all, half the audience is singing our songs already. It's like, wow. So
Well,
that's been really cool. But also too, just on the flip side of that, we were going to these places and yeah, I had no idea who you are, but holy shit, you guys are amazing, and
that's great.
um, I feel like it's been like really great to just help really helping to spread the word, but also from from Leo and I's I mean the band's perspective, really the just going out there and being able to to do what in our opinion what all this stuff is for. The best part is playing live and sharing the music and sharing the energy with everybody in person. That's I think that's where you can really sense the the essence of the spirit of the music, I think. And so just from our thing, that's been like the coolest part, just continuing to have the opportunity to go around and do that.
And the other
Yeah.
thing too is just having fun with your friends, right? I mean, I live out in Germany, Parker's out in the U.S. We're kind of spread out all over. We don't get to hang out a lot, so it's really cool to get together and do the thing you love the most. So we've had a really
Right.
good time amongst ourselves as well.
So what I like too, this tour, you guys have worked so hard, to get these gigs. I mean, and you can see that it's well deserved. I was telling Parker earlier. I mean, the work ethic that I see here, and that's the reason that this is blossoming so well. It's because you guys have worked together, but the friendship, you could see the connection, not only in the songwriting, but the way you guys interact on stage. But I also wanted to bring up the band that you have with you on this tour. I mean, these guys are, this is a tight lineup. Give us a little bit of background on the guys that are here on tour and how that's been so far working with them.
Yeah, well, I'll start with our rhythm guitar player, Mr. Stefan Bailey. I actually have known me and Leo have known Stefan just about as long as we've known each other. Actually, he went to the same music school that we went to here in LA. So yeah, I mean we go back quite a bit, and when we in 2022 after we put out the EP, and we're like, okay, we got to go and play some live shows and shoot a music video and all that. We were like, who are we gonna have playing rhythm guitar? So I don't know. There's Stefan, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. So he's really been he's been with us since day one. So that's been really cool. He's an awesome dude. Uh, yeah. Um, then on then on bass we have Mr. Mathieu Trobec, who comes from Belgium. Now he wasn't the initially when we started playing live, we had a bass player and drummer out here in LA, but last year when we went to do our first European tour, our bass player out here he didn't want to go to Europe basically, so we said okay then um, let's just find somebody somewhere else who wants to do it, and we found Matt in Belgium through a mutual friend, and yeah, I mean he's awesome. He's super talented. He's really smart guy, really sharp, really good musical intelligence. He plays everything with his fingers, which for this style of music where a lot of it's fast, I think that's really badass, especially because a lot of me and Leo, our favorite bass players, Tony Franklin and guys like they're all playing with the fingers. And I mean, I try to play most of the stuff on the record with my fingers too, wherever I can. So having somebody who did that was really really badass. But yeah, so he's great. And then lastly on drums from Germany, we have Mr. Marcel Binder, and yeah, he's been rising to the occasion, working on his chops, getting everything dialed in, and giving us the backbone for the tour. So yeah, that's the that's the summary. And maybe there's more I forgot to say, Leo, but I think that's the spark notes.
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it. As the only thing I can think of is people may know Matt from Kate's Acid, a band that's been around for some time, doing really well, really good band. So he's been playing with those guys for quite some time also.
That's cool to hear that. And you see all that come together, and your live show too. I was the next thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that when bands put a live show together, I mean, it obviously takes a lot of work to incorporate all the things that go into this. And like you said, you've only been doing this for 3 years, really. Solid. But that live show, the presentation, it's like the iconic bands. You guys might not have all the theatrics and everything because that comes with like money and things like that, but you bring that sound that's this like larger than life. How have the fans reacted to that? Because I always tell you I can't wait for a US tour. And I hope that happens, soon because I know the fans they're gonna be blown away. So how's that been for you? That live experience. And what have the fans have been saying about that?
No, it's cool. I think the live show is a huge part of the band and our sound in general, and the experience when you go to see Wings of Steel. We always, I think it comes natural to us though. It's not like we sit and we choreograph everything or anything like that. It's just we go up there, we really enjoy playing the music, and we're there to share it with these people. So we're going to be putting it out there, and I don't know. I think both to me and Parker just feels wrong standing in one place and doing this thing. And that feels to me like the kind of thing you would do if you're just solely focused on your performance and nothing else. You're there to experience. You're there to share. So I think that part comes naturally. But then also, there's two sides to the coin, right? You're performing, but also the energy you get back from the audience. That's the kind of thing that triggers the electricity. So when we put ourselves out there and the crowd responds the way that they've been responding, it just takes it to a whole other level. So it's been really amazing, and it puts you in that space of no time where you barely remember what happened because you were so in it,
Right.
and then you
Right.
see some videos and you're like, damn, that's really cool. So our fans are absolutely amazing. Like Parker mentioned earlier, we've been able to get to some entirely new territories and countries, and finally been able to greet a lot more fans. So it's been an amazing experience so far.
And more to come too. I mean, you got how many more dates do you guys have? I know it starts back up in what, September?
I think we have
Yeah,
6 or 7 dates left.
6 or 7. Let me see. We got Pyrenean Open Air, Pyrenean Warriors in south of France. Then we're playing a headline show in Madrid, and then we're playing a headline show in Belgium, and then we're playing a headline show in the Netherlands, and then we're playing a smaller festival in southern Germany, and then we're playing Keep It True Rising. That's 6. Did I miss any? I think okay. So
I think that's it. Yeah.
yeah, so we got 6 more European dates this year, and yeah, and we're super excited to get back out there. I mean, I wish we could have continued to play through this break, but um,
That'll be next time. Once everybody gets to hear this album when it releases, and then I could see more shows picking up and people going crazy over it. So
yeah,
let's get into a little bit about the new album. Not we're not going to dig deep into it obviously because we want everybody to you want to be able to be surprised what you're going to hear. But tell the fans here what they have to look forward to this because this isn't just you hear the 2 singles and you're blown away. But what you hear this is an entire album, and there's a lot of diverse pieces in this that I think the fans are going to enjoy. It's not just hey we're going to come here and hit you in the face and that's it. you guys bring excitement across all the tunes. So tell us about that new album.
Well, it's
But
I mean, I think you said it pretty well, it's a diverse group of tunes, and I think I mean that's kind of how we like to do things. We like to keep it, give each song its own. Each song kind of occupies its own space. So there's on one hand you have that, every song is unique and stands out in its own way. I think that's a given.
Right.
But I also think there's some cool. This record is not exactly a concept record, but it follows, especially lyrically, and we're talking about storytelling. Like it follows a lot of the same underlying themes about stuff. And we kind of like to do that. It's fun to with the album as a whole make a larger statement as opposed to just one statement in a song. Even though some of the statements within the songs themselves is already a huge statement. Um,
Right.
but so that's something. But I think some of we got we pushed the boundaries on the edges of our sound. So if you thought things weren't fast enough or heavy enough, they're faster now. They're a little heavier now. But that doesn't mean that we can't still play slow and with dynamics and we
Right.
have all the areas of the sound I think we've managed to kind of graze. And I mean I will also say too, like there's no band ever in its history that's been able to capture every single last aspect of its sound with one
Right.
record. But um, don't take that as like a disclaimer because at the end of the day, this every song it has a journey, it has its dynamics, and
Right.
yeah, in a nutshell, I don't want
yeah,
to I don't want to give away too much, but
no,
Right. Right.
I think it's very well summarized, Parker. I don't want to give up too much either, but I think John, you mentioned something earlier that I think hits it right on the head. Is storytelling, right? I feel like we've been able to really dive deeper into the storytelling aspect of it, musically and lyrically, and all of that. Because if you think back, like the bands that we really love, like Rainbow and like Black Sabbath, like both musically and lyrically, there was a lot of storytelling going on. So I feel like that's been the next natural progression. We already did that, but you'll hear it. I'm very excited to share this album, as I know Parker is as well, and you've heard it, John, so you already know.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
it's
it's
it's like I
fantastic.
keep saying, it's a progression, and
Yeah.
it's not like there isn't too much where it's like, whoa, that was completely, where the fuck did that come from? Like it's all like,
Right.
okay,
Right.
like it's not gonna feel stale. It's refreshed, but it's a progression. It's a progression. You'll see if you're listening to this after the record has came out, you'll see what I mean by that. So
Yeah, because it you guys are starting to to capture the signature sound to where when I hear I don't even have to hear anything. No, none of the vocals or anything, just music starting up and I know who it is. And you're starting to get to that point, which I mean it says a lot. Like I said, 3 years and you got to a point to where, hey, I know who this is. That's a cool place to be at. And you can see the comfort level too of you two working together. And that says a lot about the songwriting as well.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So everybody that's listening, Wings of Steel, Winds of Time, October 17th. You, you're going to be extremely happy. You got to hear the two singles, and that's just the foundation of what you have coming up. And you're going to be pleasantly, and I'm not going to say, you know, nobody's going to be surprised. I mean, we hear this band, the expectation level is already there. So when I see that logo on the front of that album, I already know what I'm going to get, and it's an amazing piece of music. So that's one thing I got to say about that for all the fans out there. But I wanted to bring up something that I've had you guys on several times and we haven't talked about this, the album art. Tell us a little bit about how all that comes together. And I have it displayed behind me so everybody can see it. When you get on there and you click purchase, right there that it's an amazing, it's like a gift that you get to open up on October 17th and listen all the way through. So tell us about the artwork of this album and how that comes together for you guys.
Yeah, it's a process to get there. It's a lot of going back and forth. I think getting there though is pretty straightforward. I mean, me and Parker, we have a lot of creative ideas in general, whether that's music or music videos or even artwork. Like we know what we want. We have a vision, and we try to make it happen to the best of our ability, whether that's through the help of Damon Reynaud or Spencer Caligari, who's done the artwork for all of our albums so far. Um, I think yeah, like I said, it's a process going back and forth to get the final result, but we have the vision laid out, and it's just a matter of trying to get it as good as possible. I don't know if you can add anything to that, Parker.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it. I'll just reiterate.
Yeah,
We have a concept, and we call Spencer to say, "Hey, man, okay, this is what we're thinking. Try to let's see what you got." He goes, "Okay," and then he lays something out. We go, "Okay, that's good, but this horse looks a little weird. Let's try to tweak this." I say, "Okay," and then I'll adjust it, and then and then it's we kind of produce it the same way we produce the music. But again, very lucky to be working with these really talented people that really help us kind of extract our vision and use their skills to kind of bring it to life. So yeah, that's the way it goes. So
I think the best way to put it, if for people that are listening that are, that kind of grew up in the '80s, early '90s, and the experience that you get, with a band like Wings of Steel is the fact that it's the whole package. It's the excitement of seeing that cool album cover, and then you spin it on the back and you see, the song list, and then you can't wait to take that cellophane off and really experience it. And these guys bring it, better than any of the new bands that I've heard. And honestly, guys, I mean, that just absolute kudos. I tell you that more than enough. But again, fantastic job on this.
hey, thank
Fantastic.
you, man. I think what it is whether it's the music or the art or the live show or even the business, fuck, like I think we really just try to to do things as good as we possibly can in every single direction, and do it in a way that we feel is like, okay, this is good, we feel happy with doing this, because I think at the end of the day, if we're not, if we're not happy with it, if we don't enjoy it, how can we expect other people to enjoy it? And also, too, I mean, this isn't an easy occupation. I mean, it's
No,
you gotta do it because you love doing what you're doing. There's no other way that you're gonna get through this. So, and that's
right.
the other side of it. So. I think with that in mind, that's why we do things the way we do things, and that's how things have kind of came out the way they have. So
That's
yeah,
right. Yeah, there's no such thing as an overnight sensation, not in music.
no, not in I mean, maybe if you're nowadays in the modern style, if you hit the you win the lottery and you get the big thing on social media, and that's what the major labels tend to pick up on a lot of times, and then you get that. So, but even
Right.
that's not overnight.
That's
even
right.
those artists realistically have probably been at it for years and years and
A
years.
lot. Yep. Yep.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, it's good to see that out there, and it's good to see that appreciation because we a lot of the fans now are really getting into the with the social media and podcasts like this and the way you guys interact with your fans too. I mean, you're very accessible. You see that and I think that says a lot too for how this band has grown so quickly. Was what you do for your fans and they see that and that that connection right there is what has really helped this grow and it's appreciated, believe me.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh no, well, yeah, yeah. I'll just say real quick. I mean, I think that's like with the nature of Leo and our situation and like the way things are. Like this band would not be where it is today had we not had the modern tools of the internet to meet and interact with our fans and do that. I mean, you know that's really where we've built this thing up, and that's something cool. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. Everybody. I'm sure if you're watching this, you're aware of the pitfalls of social media and the internet and all that. But
For sure.
but by and large, I think that's been really cool that we play this old school music that's reminiscent of prior decades, but we've been really able to bring it to life and share it with the world in this day and age. So that's kind of an interesting take on it, but yeah, definitely worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's all about the fans. It's about the music and it's about the fans. I mean, some of the greatest motivation there is if you remember the first time you heard that Dio record or the first time you heard what insert band name record, and how that made you feel. I mean, that is the greatest motivation to write and put out music, and then to hear people say that they experienced that and they compare you to some of the most iconic records and artists and stuff like that. That is that's the whole idea, right? That's the whole point. Or when your friend would tell
Sure.
you how enthusiastic he is about like Diamond Head and he's all stoked and he's headbanging and stuff, and then you have someone's talking about your band like that to their friends and then sharing it. I mean, that's what the community and that's what music is all about. That's really why we do what we do. Other than the
Right.
fact that we freaking love just channeling music, that's we do it when we're apart. We do it when we're
Right.
together. It's the best. But those are the two things that's why we do what we do.
That's great to hear too. That's great to hear. So tell everybody where they can get the new album. Where can they pre-order? Tell them about how they can connect with you guys and this obviously the tour date's coming up too. For your fans over in Europe.
All
Tell us
right.
about that.
So your number one resource for this is going to be our band's website. That's wingsofsteelband.com. So you can pre-order the new record, Winds of Time. You can also find our tour dates and channels to get the tickets for that. I will say with Winds of Time, those pre-orders are now available. You can get the CD. We have a black vinyl, and then we have an exclusive supernova color. We don't have a name for it because it's a very interesting design on a vinyl, so we just call it the supernova. But it looks really cool. Any of those purchasing those will help out the band tremendously. I'll also say for our fans in Europe, if you're watching, we have a good arrangement set up with our friends over at High Roller Records where you could get the new album Winds of Time as well, actually of our previous EP and Gates of Twilight as well. They have those. You
Awesome.
can order those over there, and that's way more affordable. You don't have to deal with the high shipping costs and import fees and whatever. So if you're in Europe and you want to get it, that's a good option for you as well. Definitely check that out. HighRollerRecords.com. And then let's see. Other than that, we got the new record, Winds of Time. You can pre-save it on Spotify if you're into the streaming. We got the new video for the single Winds of Time, and the second single We Rise. That's out on YouTube and every other platform. So you can check those out. And then did I miss anything, Leo?
I think just the tour dates are available on our website, and you can also find them all across our social media platforms. We post quite often, and we try to stay engaged with everyone. So I think you got the rest of.
You guys definitely do. And High Roller does a
Yes, we're
great
on
job too,
Instagram.
guys. They really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
They I do interviews for some of their bands too, and I get their promos, and they do an excellent job. So that wraps it up, guys. I mean, obviously, Wings of Steel, Winds of Time, right behind me. I don't know if I can.
Perfect.
Yep.
Hey,
There it
that's
is.
part of the tease. That's part of the tease, man.
Mhm.
When you see that, you can just tell what you get in there. When you open up that cellophane, like I said, you're going to be very, very happy. So, guys, obviously, Winds of Time, October 17th. Get on at Wings of Steel, wingsofsteel.com. Everything's there. And you also have cool T-shirts too. I mean, you get the whole merchandise package when you get there. And then these guys, they sign things for you. They communicate with you. You're going to get an excellent product all the way around. And with Winds of Time, you're going to get great music. So I highly recommend this one and the previous things too. It's start getting in and listen to the back catalog before this explodes, and then the back catalog is going to be, essential. So get it before it's absolutely essential, and then ride along with these guys. But the guys, I want to say thank you. so much. I mean, really for, you know, not only the great music that you write, but for making a sacrifice for us as fans and bringing us this great music and the great people that you are too. I've been working with you now for probably about 2 years, and it's always special, to look and see, man, these guys absolutely work so hard to get there, and to see young musicians achieve success, and that means, the world to people like me, that that has worked in this, and and you guys deserve it. I mean, you really do. It means the world. So continue to do it. Thanks for doing it, and I don't even know what else to say. I wish you nothing but the best on this. I really do.
No, thank you, John. I'm super glad we could do this interview again. It's great working with you. And again, like I said earlier, it's because of guys like you. It's the accumulation of everything. That's why the band does well. So we're never going to forget that. We're really stoked that everything is working out so well. And again, it's great to talk to you. Great to see you again. And we
You
got to do
too.
it again soon.
All right, guys. Nothing but the best on this one. October 17th, Winds of Time, Wings of Steel. Catch them on tour. Get on the website. Buy this album. Watch the videos. You watch the videos and you know what you're going to get. Album is everything that you see there and even more. So, guys, again, thanks a lot for joining Talking to Fast Lane. And you always have an open invite here. You know that.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us on again, man. It's always a great time chatting with you.
You too, guys.